Members of a known hate group marched through the crossroads this weekend. They used U-Haul trucks to transport people into Kansas City.
KMBC 9's Krista Tatchell is live at Union Station getting answers about why they were in town and how they were allowed to use the trucks. Krista?
Yeah, Kelly, the people who rented these trucks, they're from the group Patriot Front. Now, U-Haul has released a statement to me saying that is an absolute violation of their company policy to transport human beings in the cargo holds, and they have revoked the rental privileges of those who rented those trucks in Kansas City. But this is not the first time that this group has used trucks to transport humans.
Why you gotta cover up your face?
3 U-Haul trucks carried about 100 people in the cargo holds. They then marched along Main Street in the crossroads and also marched around the World War I memorial.
Testing.
The group's leader, Thomas Ryan Rousseau, has posted online many times about box trucks being used for the group.
Hey, have fun in that hot box, guys.
Even though it violates U-Haul policy. People who were watching the unexpected march Saturday say they were incredibly disturbed.
Their faces were covered, and I'm just like, you cowards. Like, what are you thinking? And the thing that I fear the most about it is that that could be your neighbor. That could be somebody that was very close to you, and you would never know.
Police say that they did not even know this group was coming into town. They did not provide them an escort, and no arrests were made. According to the First Amendment of the Constitution, they do have the right to peaceably assemble.
Hey, yo, what up, my 1751 family? I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, man. You know, for those of you who've already smashed and subscribed, I'd like to take my hat off to y'all, man, and thank you for your unwavering support, man. It means so much to me, man. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And for those of you who have yet to subscribe to this channel and you like to watch these videos, take a moment out to go smash and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell notification while you're at it so that you could be amongst the first. To receive these videos as I upload them. Now, I'm getting into it, man. Today we're gonna be reporting on a situation coming out of Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri. You know, the Chiefs. Now, here we go again. Same old shit, dog, just a different state. In my DMX voice, man. Cause that's all this shit is, man. You know, rest in peace to DMX too, man. You know, but we just reported on a situation similar to this one, man. You know, this is getting out of hand. Now, this time you have a group of about 100 to 150 military-aged white men. You know, with tan khakis, blue polo shirts, white snapback hats, shades like you see here, you know, dark shades, and last but not least, face covering, a mask over their face, right? And these guys, they also rented U-Hauls and shacked up in the back of them and rode to the location where they will be demonstrating their hate. Now, as usual, when guys like this, when they show up with their hateful agendas, man, into certain areas, you would expect the police to show up and either give these guys a citation or you know, make them leave or just agitate them in some way, shape, or form so that they can leave that location and choose to do something else with their time. You know, but you know, you almost never see that, man, when it comes to these white folks. But when you see the black militias, who has no agenda against white folks, you know, their only agenda is instilling security into their own people.
Inspiring.
Why did you decide to join this movement?
It's for the cause. Black people, we need to learn how to defend ourselves. This is definitely one way to do it.
Do you all, have normal jobs? You work in all different sectors? And
Absolutely. We're business owners, we're doctors, lawyers, we're your everyday person, anywhere from Walmart to the corporate sector.
And demonstrating to their own people, you know, that we can farm, you know, we can organize, just like the white folks and any other folk. We can organize. We have just as much right as anybody else here in America, man. You know, we also have the right, you know, to exercise our Second Amendment. We also have that right, man. You know, and groups like the modern day Black Panthers, the Not Fucking Around Coalition, the NFAC, you know, Grandmaster Jay, shout out to Grandmaster Jay, you know, but these groups, man, they only exist because of the hate and oppression. You know, the hate and oppression, man, that Black folks has had to, you know, endure, man, throughout history, right? But of course, the white folk who want to keep Black folk down and keep them in fear will push a narrative that these Black militias who are marching in formation with assault rifles, you know, the white folk, the evil white folk in America created an agenda and a viewpoint against these Black militias. They want the world to see them as they're the aggressors. Look at them. Look how they act. You know, they waving, they marching down roads with information like they some type of military. You know, they got all the best assault rifles, and for what? Right? This is the narrative that they're pushing, that these guys are looking to start trouble or to wage war on white America. But they couldn't be any farther from the truth, you know. But these guys here that you see, man, I'm not sure if some of these guys are, you know, are from the last march, you know, that was had over in the Lincoln Heights community of Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm not sure if some of these guys are the same or if all of them were you know, were at the other rally. But what I noticed is that this rally is a lot bigger than the last one. You know, and they all move with the same agenda. Now, a lot of these white folks, you know, they believe that Black folks are worried about replacing them. They believe that Black folks have an agenda to become the majority and to make them the minority. This is what they fear so much. They know that Black people have been so wronged. They feel that Black people have been done so wrong that someday they are going to become the majority and they are going to retaliate against white folk as a whole. You know, which again couldn't be farther than, you know, any farther from the truth, man. You know, Black folks, Black folks are not worried about getting white folks back, man. You know, we are not worried about that, man. You know, I don't know who's scaring these white folks. Who got them thinking that Black folks are going to take over America and treat them the way they treated, you know, our ancestors and treated us throughout history, right? This is white fright. It's white fright, you know, and it is embedded in every nook and cranny of America, man. You know, you got a lot of these guys, man. They are connected within, you know, the police. You know, they are embedded within the police community, right? They are connected with the judges, the lawyers, you know, the city councilmen, and these people, they cover their face because they are your everyday people, man. These are your corporate America people, man. You know, that'll smile at you, man, when they're on the elevator. You get on the elevator with you, they'll smile at you. You know, these are those people, man. They'll smile at you out of guilt because somehow mentally they think that you know that they're racist without even talking to them, or they know that they're so racist that when they're in your face alone, they have to smile at you. You know, as if they're friendly, and you know they don't mean no harm, right? But this shit, man, is, you can't make it up. You can't make it up, man. Now, U-Haul, these guys, they also use the U-Haul to get to their location. The same as the hate group from back in Lincoln Heights. They also use the U-Haul to get to their location, right? Now, U-Haul released a statement where they said that they will no longer be renting their vehicles out to these guys.
The U-Haul has banned members of a known white supremacy group, Patriot Front, from doing business with them following a weekend march here in Kansas City. In a statement, U-Haul says members misused their equipment when they transported members in the cargo area of one of the vehicles. Their statement goes on to say, and quoting here, they no longer have rental privileges. Of course, we do not support this group and what they represent. We have no desire to be affiliated with them in any way. At yesterday's police board meeting, Mayor Quinton Lucas expressed support for KCPD's handling of the event.
Let me repeat that. U-Haul, released a statement, claiming that they will not continue renting their vehicles out to these folks. As if these folks come in to the building with a mask on to get the U-Haul. That's how you know U-Haul is full of shit. They wanted to issue, a statement, for the people, man, to show that I'm guessing to show that they're not going to be, they don't condone it, and they're not going to be involved in helping these guys carry out their hate. But how do you stop a person from renting your U-Hauls when you don't even know who the hell they are? They don't walk into that building to rent a U-Haul with a damn mask on and their hate uniform. And even if they did and you banned them from renting your vehicles, they could always go send someone else in there. There's no way to stop them from getting U-Hauls. But it's crazy, man, that this is where we at. This is where we at, man. Now, I gotta say this, man. White folks, if you claim that you are not racist and that you don't ascribe to racist ideology, then you need to make that clear by doing something. Demonstrate that you are in no way, shape, or form partaking in racism. Do something, man. Demonstrate that. Don't just say it. We are so tired of hearing white folks say, they don't see color, and I have a black friend. We tired of that, man. Because these are the same people that you see in these hate rallies, man. The same people that when you see them in the workplace, they're saying, I got black friends. My uncle black. It's just, man, we sick of hearing that shit, man. Now, was another thing that's interesting is I never heard black folks scream, we had white fatigue when white folk was complaining about DEI, when they were benefiting the most off of it. And it was a program that was set in place for black folk, to get an equal share in an equal position on the playing field. That's what it was intended for. But white folks still benefited off it the most. However, they didn't want us to benefit off of it at all. They complain so much, man. They complain so much about diversity, equity, and inclusion. They complain so much, and their Lord and Savior, Donald Trump, he answered their prayers by snatching, pulling back DEI. He took it off the table. Which was a spit in the face to black folk. But as usual, we're going to stand strong through whatever, man. We're black. We're strong. We've been through so much. Our ancestors, man, still live on through us, man. But although we complain, because we have every right to complain, although we complain, doesn't mean that the things we complain about, we're allowing them to hold us back. That becomes a problem when you complain and you refuse to get out here and do the work to try to, just to try to improve your situation in life, right? Now, I don't know if some of you may have heard, well, I'm quite sure a lot of you have heard by now that there is a TikTok trend where you have white folk who are putting their cell phone to their face and saying things like they have black fatigue. They're so sick of black people complaining and blaming them for their failures.
Every day that us white people get on this app, we get called racial slurs every single day. So if you don't want to be called a racial slur, you also have to stop calling people racial slurs.
To blame you for all of my life's problems, then you're not allowed to blame me for yours.
As soon as your Uncle Donnie gets into office for his second term, he pulled DEI off the table. And you're starting to see more white folks come out. The same as they did his last term. Racism showed its face in the most disgusting ways. And this is what we have to look forward to for the next 4 years, man. Hate is going to unveil itself because they have their Lord and Savior, man. Who is instilling a great sense of assurance to these white folk that they're not going to be replaced. Because like I said, a lot of them believe in critical race theory and they believe in a critical replacement theory. They believe that they're going to be replaced. And with a guy like Donald Trump in the office, that fear has been washed away, and their white privilege has been restored. They now have some assurance that white folk, that black folk will not replace them. Because if you remember, man, in a lot of their marches, when they march, they say Jews will not replace us. You will not replace us. Jews will not replace us.
We even saw in some of the language around the planning of the event, like that there have been calls to show up looking presentable, right? Because people will be more likely to listen to the ideas.
The black people and Jews, and Donald Trump, man, he's a tricky guy, man. He's a tricky guy. He done fooled so many black people to believe that he's cool, man. Part of a few black rap artists. People, what the black community don't understand, man, this man is playing chess. He's not playing checkers. He is not playing, he's playing poker. Understand that, man. Donald Trump lives his life with a poker face. And he's not, he's not playing I declare war. Trust and believe me, man. He's playing a whole different type of game, man. His last term, I believe he was it Lil Wayne and Kodak Black? One of those artists. Now this term, he's part in NBA YoungBoy. And he's also considering letting free and Derek Chauvin, which that will never happen. So people can stop even lending any attention to that. Because Derek Chauvin, man, he's got time to serve, man, in different, Fed time and state time, right? So he's not coming home. But it's just a lot, man. It's a lot going on, man. And black people are starting to open their eyes and realize that these people are growing, man. They are growing, and no one's stopping them. No one's even attempting to put the fire out. You know, they're so quick to tell black folk that those people have the right. They have the right to exercise hate against us. You know, when a police officer and your mayor and, you know, all those higher up people are telling you that these groups have a right to march into your community, you know, and holding assault rifles and yelling at, you know, hateful slurs. When these city officials, man, your mayor and all that is telling you, man, that these guys are not breaking the law and you have to respect their rights. They have a right to do that. You know, black folks are now understanding that we have to open our eyes, man, and protect our own. You know, because time and time again, man, they're gonna tell us the same thing. You know, these people have rights. We can't trample all over their rights. You know, but they can trample all over yours. They can trample all over the rights of the black community. But the police ain't gonna trample all over their rights. You know, of freedom of speech. You know, and a right to protest. You know, well, anyway, man, this shit, you can't make it up. You cannot make this up, man. You know, we definitely have to put this fire out before it spreads any farther, man. You know, the good people in the world, man. You know, we have to somehow come together, man, and you know, put this fire out before it spreads. You know, because there's nothing good to come out of this, man. You know, we've seen it in the past, and this generation of black folks, man, are not putting up with the past generations of black folks have putting up with. This generation is going to start to demonstrate eventually. They're going to demonstrate eventually. They're going to wake up. They're going to wake up. I believe in my people, man. Someday they're going to wake up, man, and realize that they've been duped. You know, we are killing each other, man. We need our numbers. We need our numbers. Those white folks they are focusing on our numbers. How many heads we got? Understand that, man. We need our numbers, man. And by us killing each other, you know, we're fighting their war for them. You know, so we got to get it together, man. You know, anyway, man, this is a rather long one, man. But you know how this shit gets sometimes, man. Anyway, man, till next time, it's your boy, Mr. 1751, bringing you another 1751 review. And until next time, y'all
Confederate battle flag. The SPLC calls them a white nationalist hate group that split from the group who planned the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. That rally killed one person and injured many others. The National World War I Museum and Memorial issued a statement to Fox 4 on Sunday, saying they respect the group's right to peaceful assembly and free speech and want to be unequivocally clear that the views expressed by this group do not represent or align with our values.